What is going on, YouTube? I'm your West host, and today we're going to be taking on the Super Saiyan Rage Trunks Extreme Z battle. Now, this is not the team I'm going to be bringing, where is it? There it is. So, the category buff for this EZA is Explosive Anger, Explosive Rage, something like that. I can't remember what the global name is. I like the JP name better, I think, with Explosion of Anger was a little bit better than, I think, Explosive Rage, I want to say. This should be a pretty easy Extreme Z battle, just because I happen to have the Beerus. Without him, it can be a little bit difficult. You can still do it. It's not too hard. It just requires you bringing, I think the best way to do it is to do the physical Super Saiyan Vegeta, and running kind of like a super team, super physical, maybe Realm of Gods, and bringing Beerus as your friend lead. It's definitely very possible. It's a little bit tedious. But this is a unit that I keep forgetting came out. Even when I pulled him, he came out alongside Merge Zamasu, and I think it was the first time that Physical Vegito Blue had come back. So I definitely pulled for him, and I got a copy of him. I just, for whatever reason, he's always been one of those units that I just forget I have. And I have him at 69%, so I've got a dupe at him. He's not, you know, it's not like I have him at, you know, one copy. I've never put any investment in whatsoever. Wow, Beerus is just so good. It's just a unit that, I don't know, for whatever reason, I've never found myself using or liking. I remember when I first pulled LR Int Gohan during the 350 million download celebration, I was ecstatic because I had run him alongside that Gohan, which for the longest time was his only purpose. Being able to change orbs to Int was very useful, and that was about it. He's never been a great unit. I think his best era was back during the 70% lead days, when you could run him alongside of Int Blue Vegeta, which now you can do again. You would do it under a Buhan lead, obviously, but you could do it under like a Future Saga or something like that. The problem is, you know, I like the Int Blue Vegeta a lot more than I like this Trunks. And Int Blue Vegeta, man, he's one of my favorite rotations in the game right now, which is him and STRUI Goku. Those two, I mean, that combo is just so good, and it's so dominant. Like, I don't know, whenever I use it, you know, Int Blue Vegeta is great defensively as long as he supers first, and then UI Goku can dodge, you know, damn near every attack in the game, and then he builds up his defense, and because he's getting a 50% defensive buff, that Blue Vegeta, man, I'm telling you, he's so good. This Trunks is really good. I'm not hating on him. I can't remember what all he does when he gets EZA'd. I know it's a little bit. It's kind of interesting because he does a ton. I'll go ahead and pull it up while I'm talking about him. But he just, I don't know, for whatever reason, I guess because he was so unimpressive when he came out, that it's hard for me to like him nowadays. I don't know, he was really good. He was a hard hitter for the team, and he changed the composition of Int at the time, but he quickly fell off. You know, by the time that Int Gogeta came out, he was virtually useless and sidelined, just because he only got attack from Int Key Spheres, made him really difficult to use. I mean, you could use him alongside LR Gohan, but that was pretty much it. He was very situational, very dependent on other units to kind of carry him, and I was just never that impressed. So looking at it, he greatly lowers, on a super attack, he greatly lowers defense and raises superclass allies attack by 30% for one turn. Not terrible if you're running him in that first or second slot, but I'm going to put him in the third, so I don't see him doing a ton. It really just means he's going to squeeze out a little extra damage for himself, in my opinion. I don't see him kind of carrying my team. When it comes to his passive, however, that's like dramatically improved into something that I think is very usable as a unit, where he changes STR Key Spheres to Int Key Spheres, which is, you know, helpful. It's always good to have an orb changer on your team, especially considering one of the most underappreciated parts of the game is key management, or key placement management, which is something people forget about a lot of times. They just assume that every unit's going to be able to automatically super all the time, and no, sometimes you have to be strategic. And that's something people really kind of forget, I think, a lot of the time. So orb changers help dramatically with that. He gets attack and defense plus 20% per key sphere obtained, which is really good. That is a huge jump from where he was, where I think it was like 15 or 12%. I can see real quick. Attack per int key spheres, which is fair. It's 15% attack, which is just not enough. Not with his stats. I mean, his stats are. I was gonna say they're fine, but okay, they get better with EZA. Okay, 16, almost 17,000 attack is good. Before his EZA, what is it? Yeah, that's not great. So he definitely gets better once he awakens. That's good. And 20, his defense isn't bad. Actually, yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. But he just, he struggled a bit back in the day. His design was very one-dimensional. It was a common occurrence back in the day. Defense wasn't as big of a priority. It's what made, AGL Super Vegito so just ridiculous and so good, was because he actually had defensive viability, whereas most of the other units that came out in that era, in fact, I think the majority, sorry about that, just got a little notification, I think the overwhelming majority of units that came out in that era, or the 70% at least, had no defensive viability. You've got Int Super Vegito, who didn't, Int Buhan, who I think just got attack for every key spear, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say that's true. Tech Gotenks, who didn't, STR Cell, who I don't think did. I think he just had 100% attack. And he didn't stack it or anything like that, like he does now. I've never actually pulled that STR Cell, so I'm a little bit frustrated by that. I always liked him, but I could never get him. Omega, who lowered attack. Blue Vegeta, who lowered attack. You had Physical Vegito Blue, who had 40% damage reduction. AGL Rose, who didn't do anything. Merge Zamasu, who lowered attack. Yeah, you really didn't have any defensive viability back in the day. And there was no reason to. I mean, you didn't need it like you do nowadays. Nowadays, defense is ridiculously important. If a unit is a one-way unit, I don't consider them viable. Sorry, Tech Hit, I hate you. These one-way units or these incredibly damage-oriented units, I don't think are in contention for anything super high level in terms of discussion anymore. That's why I don't like Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. He can hit relatively hard, but in order to build up his passive, he has to be hit, and each hit feels like it knocks him back like several pegs compared to other units. I know I've only got mine at 55%, and most 55% Dokkan Fest exclusives don't feel that impressive in my hands anymore. I think just because my box has become so good overall, it's just very hard to rate him. So, I don't know, these one-way units, I'm glad they kind of stopped doing that. Beerus is probably as close as you can get to a one-way unit, and after he gets hit once, he's amazing. Kefla doesn't need to get hit or anything like that, doesn't need to get tagged, and she's amazing. Cooler is obviously fantastic. What units came out around that time? I know there was Android 13, who was fantastic. Even before Kefla. I don't remember. I feel bad about that. I guess we can take a look. Let's see what's come out recently. And I know I'm kind of rambling right now, but these EZAs are long, and I just kind of wanted to have a very chill, relaxing video where I could talk for a while. I'm very excited for the anniversary, so I haven't completed any of the EZA-related missions, so I can grind up stones and save up. I'm just really excited for that, and so I like kind of talking about Dokkan as much as I possibly can. So let's see what's come out recently on JP. Not a lot in terms of AGL. I mean, Zamasu, Fusion 13. Yeah, I'm trying to think of units, recent-ish units. I guess Gotenks and Boo, who I keep forgetting exist, which is, it sounds really bad. I feel like Majin Buu Saga, aside from Vegito and maybe Buhan, is just not that exciting. And this could just be me. I never liked the Buu Saga all that much. I thought it was definitely the worst saga of the show. I don't know. I don't find people as excited when new units come out, and it could just be because it's so old. And that makes sense too. I mean, the Buu Saga is what, 20 years old? It's hard to recapture the same amount of hype you do as when a unit from the Tournament of Power comes out, or the Goku Black Saga, which is probably the most profitable saga they've released in Dragon Ball Super, I think, just because of how monetizable Goku Black and Zamasu, and then Merge Zamasu are. And then, of course, Vegito Blue, Kaioken Goku. Trunks is in it, and Trunks sells really well. I've never been the world's biggest Trunks fan, but I understand the appeal, and he's just very monetizable. So, while the Tournament of Power probably had the most forms, and theoretically should have been the most monetizable saga, I think the fact that Jiren was so unrelentingly bland and hard to kind of attach yourself to hurt them in the long run, because he's not like a villain that people will be excited to buy like figures or summon for, compared to kind of the protagonist, where, you know, UI Goku, Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta, even Frieza coming back. That's of course going to sell very well. People love Frieza, and honestly, you know, now that I think about it, we need something to do with Frieza. We haven't gotten anything since I think the Broly movie, we got Golden Frieza, but since then we've not had any like Dragon Ball Super Frieza representation, which is probably a bad move, because I think he's probably, you know, as monetizable as Goku Black is, Frieza's probably the villain that sells the best. It's like between those two. So, you know, Dragon Ball Super, he's got some really good moments. He's pivotal in 2 arcs, so you gotta kind of do something with that. I don't remember any other examples, so yeah, you need to do something. Plus, it would just help pad out that extreme class version of the Universal Survival Saga team, which right now is struggling. To the best of my knowledge, there's not much. Another unit that I think really should come back would be, or should have representation, is Annie Raza. That's a scene in the show that I thought was very, like, hype. You had all 5, I think, remaining members of Universe 7 fighting one enemy who was this giant robot alien thing that was really, like, visually cool. Didn't necessarily fit in with Dragon Ball aesthetics, but overall I thought it was still a very interesting concept. And it was visually beautiful. So I don't know why they've not done anything with him. I think he was a unit that they really could have capitalized on. I think Topo is a unit they've kind of valued his sale value. Gods of Destruction are, you know, pretty profitable and interesting. You know, Beerus does very well, but Beerus is one of the main cast members, I understand. But Topo has like an actual arc during the Tournament of Power. It's, you know, a dissension, but it's still very interesting. And I think it's something they could explore. You know, his willingness to cast aside his justice, to cast aside his righteousness to save his universe is something that I think, you know, is at least novel as an idea. It's kind of the opposite of the Gohan arc we've previously seen, where he's willing to do whatever it takes and cast aside his pacifism to save the people he loves, because that's his ultimate true justice. Whereas Topo's ultimate justice was doing things a certain way, the correct way, and was willing to throw aside all of his ideals for seemingly nothing. So I think that that's a character they've really underutilized in this game. It's kind of fascinating. I was watching some stuff from it today. I was just, you know, I was in a mood. You know, they announced the LR Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta and LR Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku, so I've been very hyped on the Tournament of Power. And the fight between Jiren and Evolution Blue Vegeta is just really interesting. It's kind of shorter than I remember. I realize watching it now. There's not as much action. I think part of that's because they were cut back and forth between Goku and Jiren and Topo and God Vegeta, which made it seem like it was a little bit longer. But it's got some really cool dialogue, some really cool moments. The interactions between Topo and Vegeta are really interesting. I think they missed the mark a little bit. And this is just me kind of talking from a very unprofessional opinion, but I think they missed the mark on not having Gohan and Topo interact more. Because those two, I think, would have a very interesting dynamic if they were given screen time together. Because, you know, Topo's entire thing is justice, and given, you know, Gohan's great Saiyaman attire, given Gohan's history and willingness to fight only when absolutely necessary, there's a good interplay they really could have done there. Excuse me, that was from the Discord with some of my Dokkan Battle friends. You'll probably see some collabs with them on the channel in the next little bit. I'm expecting, especially for the 5-year, we're probably all going to do some stuff. So that'll be really cool. There's some really cool guys. If I can get the channel info, I'll link it in the description or a pinned comment. I might forget, so if I do, please remind me with some comments. I'll be more than happy to shout them out. They're really cool people. I had a really cool stream I did with Reese and Avi. We were on Reese's channel just talking about some categories that need some padding out. It was really cool. I enjoyed that a lot. So, I don't know if you're seeing this, but thank you very much for having me on. I appreciated that. But yeah, no, Dragon Ball Super, the Tournament of Power arc, for me, it had some just remarkably hype moments. The ending, of course, people will always look to as the, probably the hypest moment in Dragon Ball Super, period, maybe except for the movie. It had me standing up and, almost jumping up and down with excitement. I couldn't just sit down and watch it. It was so good. The battle with Goku and Frieza against Jiren, 17 standing there, the lone victor. No one, I don't think, ever saw that coming. So that was really exciting. Vegeta's speech to Belmont, I think is his name, about the Saiyans and Goku before he goes Mastered Ultra Instinct. That was one of my favorite things. If you watch it in the dub, there's an absolutely incredible line where Vegeta tells Goku to trespass into the domain of the gods, which is just it is the ultimate hype line, I think, of anything in Dragon Ball. That moment just gives me shivers to this day. But then it ended pretty abruptly, and I think if given more time, and I don't know how rushed the ending is. I genuinely do not. I don't know if there was a rush. I don't know if this was the original vision. I genuinely don't know, but the first half of the arc drags on. It's just Goku fighting with different members of Universe 7 or Universe 6. It's not good. The Tournament of Power arc is really inconsistent, and there's some really bad portions of it, I'm not gonna lie. Excuse me. But that established, it had some really good seeds of quality. I think Gohan was a character they could have really utilized, and they did it really well in one scene where he eliminates a universe, and he just kind of sees that he's eliminated, people, and he seems to struggle with that. Now, granted, he's going to bring them back with the Dragon Balls, but that's an internal struggle for him, because he's always been about justice and doing only what is necessary to save those he cares about. And Gohan really could have been the kind of emotional linchpin, I think, of the Tournament of Power if they didn't go in such a, aggressive, over-the-top, shonen fashion. Instead, kind of focused on, a more narrative-based, character-driven plot. I think could have been very interesting, because at this point in time, we know Goku's motivations, we know Vegeta's motivations. There's no doubt in our minds when they get in something like that, what's going to happen. The coolest thing we saw was Vegeta and his interactions with Cabba, I think, were cool, and Goku's Ultra Instinct form was really cool. And then there were some hype moments, looking, aesthetically and, fights-wise. It was really cool to see, of course, Goku, Frieza, and 17 against Jiren. That's one of the most beautiful scenes they've done in all of Dragon Ball. But there's no emotional resonance. Jiren's character could have been very interesting. One of the things he repeatedly says is that he was searching for what's beyond strength. And I think that line is vague enough that you could explore that and do something with it. Like, have him searching for Ultra Instinct and have Goku master it. And then Jiren get pissed and then want to destroy Goku because Goku achieved it before he did. And then maybe learn from Goku and seek out more about Ultra Instinct. Because Ultra Instinct ultimately is kind of what's beyond strength. It's not just about raw fighting power, about powering up. It's about, was asynchronous movement, moving without thinking about it. And that's something they really could have explored, I think. Jiren's, search for that and finding it in Goku could have been frustrating and given him, motivations to turn quote-unquote evil. Instead, he just got pissed that Goku was relying on his friends, which kind of came out of left field, in my opinion. It was very strange. I think Gohan, his utilization in the tournament was interesting, but it kind of echoes this problem where I don't know that Toriyama knows what to do with Gohan anymore. I have no problem whatsoever with Gohan hanging up the cape. I have no problem with him deciding, hey, you know, I'm not a fighter. I hate this. This is not me. I know I'm strong, and if you ever need my strength, I'll give it to you, but right now I just don't have to fight. I think that's a reasonable character choice, and I think, you know, having him be the strategist of the tournament would have been really cool if they'd let him strategize more. But instead, what we get is he has a strategy, and the only people that listen to it are the kind of non-power players in the tournament. You know, Tien, Krillin, Roshi, Gohan himself. He was the, like, I think, strongest person to kind of listen to his own plan. Because you got Frieza going off, Goku going off, Vegeta going off, and I think it was purely because we wanted Goku and Vegeta to team up with different people and fight different ways. And I think to help with power scaling. But, like, Gohan's emotional component was underutilized. He could have had a really cool dynamic with Toppo. Because Toppo's all about justice, and Gohan could have, you know, hated the idea of the tournament. You know, it's eliminating other universes. It's causing pain for the salvation of one, you know, ultimate universe. And that could have been something where he was angry at the gods. He was angry at, you know, so much for kind of toying with, you know, life. That could have been a really cool arc for him to have. And instead they just didn't explore that the same way. I think Gohan and Toppo, where Gohan fights to save people and Toppo fights to save his own skin, and ultimately is going to use the Dragon Balls for like a selfish reason at the end, could have been a really cool way to like have a fight after Goku and Jiren. Because as cool as it was that Android 17 was the MVP, just because something comes out of left field doesn't necessarily mean it's perfect writing or that interesting. You know, Android 17, I don't know. I like the fact he was there. I like some of the techniques he used, but as a character, he's pretty one-dimensional. He wanted a boat, and he wanted to continue being a ranger. That's basically it. I don't know. I was not as thrilled with his utilization. And I think bringing him back was a cool choice. I think very few people would have seen it coming. I think bringing Frieza back is going to pay off in the long run, especially if, you know, in future Dragon Ball Super arcs they continue to utilize Frieza in an interesting way. Right now it feels like, after the Broly movie, Frieza's existence is a little surprising, and it doesn't necessarily make a tremendous amount of sense why he was kept alive. Killing him off after he tried to destroy the planet would have been a pretty obvious thing to do. You know, they gave him his life, they let him live, and then he came and tried to kill them. So why let him, continue living? But it set up a universe where there were 3 separate factions, all kind of powerful and out there. So you had our Earthland warriors with Goku, Vegeta, everybody down at Earth. You had Broly, Chile, and Lemo kind of off doing their own thing. Broly's probably the most powerful person or unit in existence, aside from like an angel. And then you had the Frieza Force, who was going out and trying to find things. At the end of the movie, they're bombing a planet, which I feel like was very understated, but in a good way. And so that sets up a really cool world where, you know, you've got 3 different people who aren't necessarily enemies, but all super powerful and all kind of occupying the same universe, which feels smaller and smaller. Therefore, the next arc, I think it would have been cool to tie in all of those entities, or at least reference the other entities, you know, jump around from different perspectives, you know, show Frieza's perspective. Spoiler alerts for the new arc. I'm going to talk about it, I think. But, you know, with Moro, have Moro, you know, indirectly affect Frieza. He's eliminating a lot of life to get powerful, so have that indirectly affect Frieza's, his, you know, monetization, his conquering. You know, Frieza keeps showing up to planets and they're devoid of life because Moro's eaten them all. That would be interesting. Have Frieza, you know, discover some of the old planets that Moro eliminated. That would be interesting. He keeps coming up on empty planets and it's like, what the hell is this? And it's because Moro already destroyed the life, and we as the reader, we as the viewer would know that, but it wouldn't necessarily have to be explicitly said. Have Moro reference the fact that he can sense a very powerful energy coming off in the distance at what he thought was an abandoned planet. Maybe have him reference that it's abandoned because he thought he destroyed all life there. Maybe he's talking about going there and visiting. And we know that he's talking about Broly on... wait, people keep telling me the name of the planet, and I always forget it, and I feel bad about that. Vampa. Have him talk about Vampa. Just mention, oh, I think I'm going to go back to Vampa soon because I can feel power there. Something to kind of, I don't know, utilize the world they built, rather than just having all of these ideas sitting and stewing without any execution, which I think has been a big problem. And it brings back that issue of Gohan. Gohan's a uniquely interesting character. He's a strong character in Dragon Ball, but he's not one that likes to fight. And that, for the series, that's a little complex. Vegeta's only motivations have been anger and wanting to get stronger than Goku for a very long time. We know he's got loyalty to the Saiyans, which is fantastic, but that's about it. Goku has just wanted to fight, and that's fine. He's a shonen protagonist who does his job very well. He's not always a power ceiling, but he's always a good point of reference for different characters. But Gohan could be complex. It was cool when they had him be, the leader of Universe 7, but then they don't do anything with that. It was cool. They mentioned that he's intelligent and could strategize, but they don't do anything with that until he decides he wants to full Nelson himself to take out Dispo, which I think was a hallmark back to Raditz and Goku and Piccolo, and I don't know. But that was interesting. It would be really interesting if something evolved with Frieza and Gohan as a result of that. Look at how Piccolo and Goku hated each other, mostly because Piccolo's father hated Goku. Well, Frieza and Gohan could have like an unlikely, unwitting, not buddy cop adventure, but maybe something happens and they work together very well. And they continue working together. That would be at least interesting to explore, but I just feel like there were a lot of moments in Tournament of Power that were underutilized. I know this video is going on long. I forgot how long it takes to actually EZA these units. So if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Obviously, if I'm this far in, I'm not going to cut it. Let's just go for it. I keep looking at what level we're on, and I'm like, wow, this is way longer than I expected. But I think we're actually getting through this one a little bit quicker than a lot of them too, because we're able to like one-shot or like 1 or 2 phase each stage, which has been helpful. But still, wow, this is going on a lot longer than I ever intended. But it's cool, I like it. I got more videos up, and I'm having a lot of fun with Dokkan before the anniversary, because I think everyone has a lot of fun right before the anniversary. It's some of the best times, because everyone gets so hyped. You can kind of feel it. There's like a tension on like discussion boards and stuff like that. I'm in a good position where I've got friends now, in a Dokkan Battle Discord that are a lot of fun to interact with, and that's really enjoyable. But I don't know, I love it. This is my favorite time, I think, is these next 2 weeks right before the anniversary starts, and right when it kind of hits and that excitement comes to, like, the wave has been building up and it starts to crest and all the new content comes and we see the teaser for the new units, even though we already know who's coming, obviously. It just, like, all that hits at once, and it's so sublime and wonderful, and everyone's having fun. Then people get shafted on the banners and they forget the fact they were having fun and they just talk bad about the game. And then a little while later, they'll look back and say it was a good anniversary. A long while later, after they've gotten more top-grossing stones and realize that, it happens. Spoiler alert for everybody, you're probably not going to get everything you want. That's okay. Those of you that were able to save this entire time, props to you. I genuinely hope you get everything. You definitely deserve it, and I'm very hopeful for all of you. I really hope everyone gets what they want. I just don't think it's likely, but, obviously I want that to be likely. I want that to happen. So don't come away thinking that I'm hoping, like, oh, I hope everyone gets shafted except me. No, we're all going to get shafted. Let's be real. But I don't want that to be the case. It just, I don't want anybody feeling too terrible, kind of having that after summon doom and gloom. For me, I'm actually I don't know what it's going to be like, because I've never walked out of a celebration with a Dokkan Fest LR and not gotten it when they first came around. So, you know, I'm 5 for 5 right now, I think. I actually have one rainbowed, which was very surprising, from the Majin Vegeta and Super Saiyan 3 Goku banners. I didn't go hard on those whatsoever, and LRs just kept dropping like crazy for me, and I don't know why. I don't even like the Super Saiyan 4s. They were flowing like, I don't know, flowing like water. It was crazy. No complaints. Obviously no complaints. A Rainbow Super Saiyan 4 Goku, he's just stupid. He's so good. I don't use him as much as I should, because I forget about it on occasion, but he's so overwhelming with his prowess and his power. So I'm expecting, hopefully that streak continues. If it's gonna break on one, I wish it was Super Saiyan 4s and not these guys. I really hope I get both of them. They're just so good. I know I'm gonna go deep on these banners, and that's, you know, luckily I have a jump that lets me. But whew, I'm excited. So you got them. A lot of free content coming. I expect we'll get Extreme Super Battle Road with the celebration. We could also get the Ultimate Clash, I think is that what it's called? I don't know. The like thing where you fight Broly and you pick certain characters, and I don't know how to explain it. It's a little convoluted. I don't entirely understand it. I know kind of what it is, but it's very complex. But I'm excited for that too. I think it's gonna be awesome. It's a lot of fun to run. You can run it, I think, as much as you want. So that'll be exciting. And then, of course, you know, you'll have the LRs. You'll have tons of new stages, story. 3 EZA units that are free to play. So Raditz, Broly, and... No. Raditz and Vegeta. Excuse me, Broly and Zamasu Goku, who are all pretty good. I don't know that the Raditz, Broly, and... Raditz, Vegeta, and Broly are any good, but Zamasu Goku is fantastic. I mean, that unit is sublime. It's a little difficult, a little situational at times, but definitely, you know, one of the best free-to-play units in the game, and could be, you know, an absolute slobber knocker in the LR Goku EZA. I think the 5-year anniversary could be a really good time to catch up on stuff too, like the free-to-play stuff for Global, because a lot of the units you're gonna need for all of the LR Super Saiyan Goku EZA stuff, that's all gonna be there, I think. Like all the free-to-play stuff, because if I'm not mistaken, you're gonna need the EZA Vegeta and Raditz, EZA Vegeta and Raditz, and EZA Broly for like one of the Extreme Z areas for some of the units. You can get a ton of incredible gems now that what's probably gonna happen is they're gonna quadruple rank EXP, so you can farm up a bunch of incredible gems to get the cooler and to get the Android 13. You can, you know, rainbow them, EZA them, because I think all EZAs are going to be open. It's really a good time to prepare for that Goku EZA now that I think about it. There's going to be a lot of options. They're probably going to give out a lot of keys, so that'll be helpful for sure, because I definitely need some more keys. Yeah, that's actually going to be a really good time. I think about it, and stones are going to be like flowing like water. You're gonna have Super Battle Road. You're gonna have hopefully you're gonna have Boss Rush. You're gonna have what else comes out? Oh, Infinite Dragon Ball History. Like I think 2 new stages. Each of those give a ton of stones. So I mean, you're looking at total just an absolute assload of stones. I'm sorry for the profanity, but like, damn, that's gonna be a lot. Whew. Think about it, yeah. I'm excited because you can see how many stones I've got on screen between each fight. It's not a ton. It's, you know, enough because I'm gonna obviously buy some, but I'm hoping to go pretty deep. I also hope tickets make a return. I don't think those have been confirmed. They always have returned, with the exception of a 350 or 300 million download celebration. But man, I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful that those make a return, because those save summons so much. I don't usually get the new units with tickets. I think I've only done it once, and that was in the 3-year anniversary. But you can get old units that pad out. Like if you look at the Vegito banner, which I think is the better banner of the two, if you miss and don't get Vegito, like who cares? Because you've got, you know, LR Goku and Vegeta that become LR Vegito. You've got LR Super Saiyan Gohan, who's one of the best defensive units in the game, probably the most valuable unit in the game. You've got Trunks. You've got Merge Zamasu. You've got, who else is on there? The new Trunks and Mai. I think there's this, Vegito Blue's on there if you don't have him rainbowed. Maybe Physical Super Vegito and Boo. It's only like 10 units. It's like if you miss on that banner, you're still hitting something good. And then Gogeta's banner, you know, I've got a lot of the good stuff on there, but still. 2 LR Gogetas, LR Cell, who's amazing for Super Battle Road, Bardock and Gine, who are awesome. AGL Gogeta, Physical Full Power Broly from the Broly movie. Both of those guys are really good. Who else? Off the top of my head. I think Super Saiyan... No. For some reason I thought Super Saiyan 3 Broly was on there. That's not true. Is Super Saiyan 3 Bardock? I have to look. But it's still pretty good. It's not as good, but it's still really good. The worst unit in either banner, I want to say, is like STR Transforming Super Boo, who I will say he's not. Okay. There's some people who will be like, oh, he's the most underrated unit. No, he's bad. He's very bad. He's not the worst category leader, and in some situations he's not as bad as people make him out to be. That's as good as I can say about him. But even if you get him, the team he leads is still really good, and if you don't have Cooler, you can run him and then a Cooler and just keep him off rotation. He's fine. I used him to beat Transformation Boost Legendary Goku event, no items, I think. I just made sure I got Boo Piccolo, and I kept him off rotation, so he's giving everybody defense whenever he came back on. Honestly, that Boo Piccolo should have been the default card. That Boo Piccolo is so good. You know, compared to all the other units. He's not great by modern Dokkan Fest stand, like, terms or, you know, comparisons, but, you know, he's really good. Especially like if he was a banner unit. That's a solid card. I'm trying to think. Then you got the 55. Oh my god, I forgot about the 55 unit summon, where you get a guaranteed LR. That's huge. 200 stones for a guaranteed LR. That's not, you know, that's something to laugh at, because you get 55 units for 200 stones, and one of them's guaranteed to be an LR. That's awesome. You know, I think I pulled on JP like Super Saiyan 3 Goku or something like that, which is fine. He's good. Definitely not the one I want to pull. If I had to choose, I would choose like one of the more recent ones. So everything I think from Kale and Caulifla onward. I don't know that banner is going to be different on global because the timeline of events has been different. So like, will UI Goku be on there? I don't know. Will Vegeta Nappa be on there? I don't know. That'll be really interesting to think about. It'll be awesome if they are, because people, you know, I think underrate like crazy Vegeta and Nappa. They're a great utility unit. They're not great offensively. They're pretty good defensively, not perfect. But you know, they serve so much utility. They're great for the World Tournament. I don't know if I call them the best World Tournament unit ever, but especially at 55%. But they are really good. They're good in Extreme Super Battle Road. Really good there because of that turn 3 guaranteed dodge. Vegeta, when he comes out, he's pretty decent. So I don't know. I would say he's as good as some people make him out to be, but he's a lot better than people rate him. So that's good. I don't know, they just have a really good utility kit. Oh, and the units that are releasing that I can't believe I haven't talked about for the 5-year are Broly, Chile and Limo, and Rose Goku Black, both of whom are absolutely staggering units. Goku Black is definitely one of the top units in the game. His offensive viability and pretty decent defensive viability make him a contender. You know, he can hit out like a 5 million attack stat turn 1. Easy. No problem. With support, I've seen him get up to like, what, 10 million? Like, that's not something to laugh at. That's not something to pretend doesn't exist. And then occasionally you get his rage mode. It's very rarely, but it does happen. and that rage mode's really good. So he's got some really viability, and then Broly, Cheetah, and Lemo aren't as good, I would say, but they're very interesting and they're very fun because they can do so many different things, and that, you know, it's a weird compliment to give because they do so many different things, but it makes them very interesting to utilize. You know, they can be an offensive support, they can be a defensive support, they can be just a heavy attacker, they can get a guaranteed dodge if you can manipulate orbs. They can do all sorts of kind of fun and interesting things based on the keyboard, which is something, once again, you don't see a lot of use with. You see, oh, they either get a lot of orbs or they get a certain type of orbs. You don't see, oh, they do different things with the different orbs they get. That's cool. I like that a lot. I think that's just super interesting. So I'm a very big Broly, Cheetah, and Lemo fan. It's weird they're an extreme type, considering they're not really doing anything wrong in their card art, and by the time that Broly is there, he's definitely not an extreme character. And it honestly feels kind of weird having Broly be an extreme character in general. I get why they do it. You know, he is rampaging, he is pillaging, but I don't know, Broly's just not evil whatsoever. He's just uncontrollable or uncontrolled. Excuse me, sorry about that notification. I don't know, the Broly movie really, I think, is a strange one to have in Dokkan, because full power Super Saiyan Broly feels sad to see in a way because of how tortured he is to reach that state, and it's not something he ever desired. He's not evil, he doesn't want to fight, he's just scared and frustrated and angry and tortured, and I don't know, Broly's just a very cool character in that movie, and I think this is going to be the last, yep, that's the last little bit of it. This was a lot easier, I think, than even the Vegeta EZA that I marked about being easy. The one problem is I have so many damn int Kais. Like, if you take a look, let's just SSR int, and you look at how many int Grand Kais I have. Because what unit am I going to give them to? No int units come out anymore. There's Gotenks, but he's farmable, so why bother? I'm going to use 5 of these for Trunks, so cool, but then I got still a shitload left. Like, who do I use them on? No int units come out. I don't know. That's weird. They've given out so many, and I just don't have a use for them. I guess if I pull LR Goku or Godku, that'd be cool, but that's about it. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's clearly a long one. I don't know how long because I wasn't keeping track, but definitely a long time. Wow, yeah, ooh, that's a long one. So, I appreciate you guys watching, and like we always say here on the channel, I hope to see you around sometime.